Igbo groups to drag the federal government to the world bodies, worried by the hardships, suffering, humiliation suffered by road travelers due to multiple roadblocks and checkpoints mounted by security agencies on the road leading from southwest to southeast and south-south regions. And also within the two regions, some influential Igbo groups have threatened to drag the federal government to court. The International Human Rights Commission and other global bodies, they said that multiplicity of roadblocks and checkpoints mounted with logs of wood, sandbags, solid concrete, and all sorts of unsightly materials, especially on the Shagamu Benin Onitsha Expressway, and also on all major roads in the southeast and south-south were simply extortionist centers. As you all know, that the agencies, enforcement agencies in Nigeria, they are simply extortionists. That is what they are. With their weapons and their uniform, they extort, and they do not hide any of those things. Once in a while, maybe the Inspector General of Police might want to make an example of few of them, but probably I wouldn't know. But I'm thinking that he himself must have gotten to that position doing the same thing. As you know, they have to roja. When they finish with that, they send back the money to the DPO, and that's how it works. And if you look at the system itself, where a huge amount of money is being stolen out of the country, and there are a lot of cases of corruption, I think that is what has made these people more brazen. And even the presidency cannot even handle this, as they are more concerned, and also the senators, the legislators, they are more concerned about what they can also loot. Those at a world press conference in Lagos yesterday to highlight the issues were Chief Emmanuel Chuks Ikoku, President Out Oka Iwu, Major General Obi Umai retired, President General Indigbo Lagos, Mr. Oscar Omundiwe, President Aka Ikenga, and Mr. Ngozi Idu Odumoko, Coordinator Zoko Muna, while not questioning the constitutional role of the agencies to combat crime. The groups bemoaned the roadblocks that have littered all the nooks and crannies of the south of Nigeria. So the groups bemoaned the serious abuses and negation and curtailment of human rights and civil liberties pervaded their operations at these roadblocks and checkpoint. They therefore called on President Retired General Muhammadu Buhari to immediately direct the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, to dismantle the roadblocks, particularly at this festive period when the Igbos and the Biafrans, people from the southeastern part of Nigeria, had commenced mass movement to the southeast, describing the roadblocks as a national disgrace for which the operators and perpetrators ought to be ashamed. They wonder why the Inspector General of Police, Adamu, had returned roadblocks even when his predecessors dismantled them because of their ineffectiveness in combating crime. According to the groups, they said, our citizens are routinely harassed, intimidated, and extorted of their belongings at these checkpoints. Huge man hours are merely a fraction of the economic losses occasioned by these roadblocks, as journeys that ought to take a few hours are punctuated at every few hundred meters, they said. Now, guys, you know what it is. If you live in Nigeria, you know what these things are. Every meters, probably when you're traveling. Some might say, well, it is good because it had helped me here and there, but then some might say, no, we don't want any of this. So they said this 100 meters roadblock stretch of the journey to 4 times the normal hour it ought to take. In many instances, especially on the Shagamu Benin Onitsha Expressway, the roadblocks are barely a pole apart. Ohaneze Indigbo lists 24 checkpoints between Lagos and Ore, 23 checkpoints between Ore and Benin, and 13 checkpoints from Benin to Onitsha, accounting for a total of 60 checkpoints on the narrow corridor alone. This is replicated throughout the southeast and most of the south-south zones. Aside from the mental torture and travelers now go through, turning an otherwise routine activity into a nightmare, the impression of an economic siege and blockade is inescapable. That's what the group say. So they went further to say instructively, the Shagamu Bini Onitsha Utukpo Enugu Port Harcourt Expressway were specifically listed among the roads affected by this directive. Sadly, instead of building on this brave and well-intentioned initiative, the current Inspector General of Police, Mr. Mohammed Adamu, who was on assumption of office viewed as reform-minded, has taken the police force and the country backwards with the introduction of these legal roadblocks that truncate the ease of doing business policy of the federal government and cause huge economic loss amongst others. However, very disturbing is the recent statement credited to the current Inspector General of Police, Mr. Mohammed Adamu, to the effect that these illegal roadblocks would remain. We consider this statement as highly insensitive, provocative, unacceptable, especially in light of constitutional breaches occasioned by these roadblocks and the hardships which our citizens are subjected to at these checkpoints. Aside from the fact that there is no empirical study to show that these roadblocks are kind of effective than highway patrols in combating crime, we know that even in the northeast, including Maiduguri, which is the hotbed of insurgency, the roadblocks are curiously fewer than those on the Shagamu Bini Onitsha Expressway and other southeast roads. We therefore find the position of Mr. Adamu as untenable and unacceptable. We reject it in entirety. We asked President Muhammadu Buhari, Major General Buhari retired, GCFR, to direct the Inspector General of Police and other heads of security agencies to comply with the Senate resolution and immediately dismantle these roadblocks. In place of this illegal and dilapidating roadblocks, the security agencies should immediately commence high visibility patrols and effective surveillance of the highways. Further, security personnel who engage in such vehicular patrols on highways and major roads must wear bold name tags and service number to foster accountability. The Igbo groups urge all citizens traveling on those roads to remain law-abiding and polite to law enforcement agencies, while asking them to also report incidents at the roadblocks to them through their own town unions and other cultural organizations. They finally say, we hereby have the notice that continued abuse and curtailment of people's fundamental human rights on the highways will be strongly challenged in the court of our land, ECOWAS court, and presented to International Human Rights Commission. The doing of the diplomatic corps in Nigeria and other international organizations will be requesting for sanctions accordingly on those who openly or tactily encourage or condone these harrowing conditions on citizens. So guys, that's just what they say. A lot of roadblocks, and they say they have not come up with the reasons why these roadblocks have become this much. That's just what it is. A very sad one. The insurgency should have taken more of these roadblocks, at least to curtail the violence that is going on there. So if you are a road user and you have a different perspective, opinion, take about this, drop it at the comment section below. And if you are not a member of this channel, but first, for those who are already a member, I say a very big thank you for the support. If you're not a member, it's easy and it is free. Simply tap on the subscription button. It's just down there on your right, and the red notification icon bell also on your right. That will simply alert you whenever videos are uploaded. Thanks for stopping by once again.